So how can you guarantee the absolute best results for your e-commerce social media marketing agency clients? Like, this is honestly one of the most common questions that I get on the channel. It's like, Kai, yeah, I know how to get clients. I can get them through email outreach, through inbound, whatever. But how do I actually get amazing results? You know, people look at my results that we get for Bax Consulting clients. They're like, how do you get these amazing results at such high spends each and every day? Well, in this video, that is exactly what I want to cover. I want to show you really the 4-tiered system that we implement for every single client to ensure that we are able to get them the absolute best results possible using Facebook and Instagram paid traffic. Now, guys, as always, just before we jump into the video, make sure you go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And with that being said, let's jump straight into the video. So really there's 4 pillars to, ensuring that you can get your e-commerce and info product clients as well. You know, we include info product clients into this as well. 4 pillars to ensuring you can get your e-com and info product clients the absolute best possible results. Now, quickly before we jump in, one thing I want to mention is that none of these are in any particular order. Each and every point is just as important as each other. So let's get kick-started. First things first is a product. Now, I want to mention quickly, before you click away from the video, I'm not going to be talking about, best audiences to target, right? Or best events to target. Do you go for purchases or do you go for lead? I'm not going to be talking about that because that stuff is kind of miscellaneous. It's actually not that important. The 4 things that we're going to go through in this video, as I say, it's going to be a bit different to probably what you're expecting, but without these 4 things, it doesn't matter if you go for purchase conversions. It doesn't matter if you go for leads. It doesn't matter if you target this country or that country. None of that stuff matters unless these 4 things are in place. These are the main 4 things. Every single client you ever bring on, you ever work with, you ever run ads for, they have to have these 4 things in place. Otherwise, nothing else matters. One of them being, or the first thing being, is the product itself. So this should go without saying. However, I feel as though a lot of people disregard the product, okay? If a client has a terrible product, the quality is low level, the shipping takes weeks, all that type of stuff, running ads at a high level will be literally impossible. It will be very, very near impossible. You could fake it for quite a while, but you'll be able to only do that for like 2 months. And this is why dropshipping is just a terrible product, right? A terrible business model, I should say. And as I mentioned, this is why an established e-commerce business who sells the exact quote unquote, the reason I say it's quote unquote is because it's never the same product. Dropshipping is always like from China or whatever, whereas an established e-commerce business actually makes a product themselves, right? But the product, the idea of the product is the exact same, right? So that's why an established e-commerce business who sells quote unquote the exact same product as a dropshipping business will always crush the dropshippers simply because their physical product is much higher quality. And this also applies to info products as well. This should go without me saying, right? But as I mentioned, I think a lot of people often disregard this section, often disregard the products as a whole, right? Because they look at the client and they think, oh, I can run ads for them. And they're kind of just money hungry, which I understand when you're starting your agency, but like, you can be money hungry all you want. If you don't follow this video and you sign clients that don't kind of align with the 4 pillars that we'll go through in this video, you're going to be spinning your wheels so much. Right? This is just the fundamentals. You're going to be spinning your wheels. One of the things, if the product isn't on point, the physical product that the client's actually selling, if it's a terrible product, you're never going to get good results. You may get good results for like a month or 2 months, but it's going to come out in the wash in the end. Everybody's going to realize. Also, your Facebook feedback score is going to massively decrease because people are not going to be happy with your product. And so you've got about a month run at best at running ads. And then after that's best scenario as well, month at best. And yeah, you're going to be spinning your wheels. So this is the first thing. The product itself has to be high quality. This is both e-com and info product. Next thing is the sales process. This is vital. I'm going to say this for every point because they're all just as important as each other, but the sales process. So technically the sales process refers to the journey a customer goes through from the moment they see the ad all the way through to the point that they purchase, and in some cases after they purchase. However, because we are in charge of the advertising front when operating an agency, when I say sales process, I'm referring to what happens after someone clicks the ad. So when running ads for clients, one thing you'll realize is sometimes your ads may be getting great results, higher funnel, right? And when I say higher funnel, I'm basically referring to CTRs, cost per clicks, stuff of that nature. So you may see that your ads are getting great results, higher funnel, but there's no conversions, there's no direct purchases, there's no ROAS or anything like that. And at the end of the day, that's the stuff that matters most. That's the stuff that's going to keep a client on board, not the fact that you got 1,000 clicks to their website, right? Now, this problem, as I say, is pretty common among advertisers, among agency owners who don't quite understand how to operate their agency in the best way. So this reason, as I say, it's common. And it could be because you're sending the wrong type of traffic to the website through the sales funnel. But honestly, 80% of the time, 90% of the time in this situation, it's due to the client's sales process. So what I mean when I say wrong type of traffic is, for example, I'm going to refer a lot to agency ads right now that I'm running for Bax Consulting. I may get a lot of clicks. I may get a very, very good cost per lead, very, very good cost per call booked, higher funnel metrics, but I may not sign clients. I may not sign 5, 6, 7, 8K clients. Now, that could be the sales process, but I know it's not because I've built the sales process and it's the second iteration. The second, third, fourth, fifth iteration of anything is always much better than the first. So I know it's not the sales process. What it is in that instance is it's the wrong type of traffic. So what it could be is that the traffic is drop shippers, right? Everybody's going to want to get better results. So when they see an ad of mine for Bax Consulting, they're going to be like, oh my God, he can get me amazing results. And they're not a good fit. Right, so that is the wrong type of traffic, and that's correlated to my audience targeting. That's correlated to the ad set level. Now, obviously, I know all of that, so we don't target drop shippers, but that could be the idea. With clients, however, majority of the time, as I say, it could be that. It could be you're sending the wrong type of traffic to the website. Majority of times, it's not that problem. Majority of the times, it is the client's sales process. So where do they go after they click the ad, and what does that process from that point onwards, once they click the ad, how does it look from as soon as they click the ad? Because loading speed of the website or the sales funnel is a huge indicator. So it's literally as soon as they click the ad, all the way through to the point of them purchasing, sometimes after they purchase. How does that process look? Oftentimes that process is flawed. So at that point, it doesn't matter how much traffic you send to the funnel or the website, it's not going to convert. So here basically are the top 5 reasons why the client sales process is flawed. You know, if you're experiencing this, this issue, right? You're getting good high funnel metrics, but you can get no conversions, no purchases. It's probably, again, you could be sending the wrong type of traffic, or it's going to be one of these 5 reasons. Or at least these are the top 5 reasons. Number 1, loading speed. As I say, the point they click the ad, if it takes the page, you know, a minute to load, that's a bit excessive, but even, you know, 20 seconds to load, your drop off rate is going to be huge. Nobody's going to sit there for 20 seconds waiting for it to load. They're going to think the link's broken. They're going to think the website's not legit because it's taking so long, and they're going to bounce. So that's number 1. Another thing is that the value outweighs the perceived value. I want to touch on this one for a minute because this is important. This is something, again, not a lot of people talk about, but the value of the way that the product is positioned on the product page, on the sales funnel, if it's an info product or website, you know, if it's an e-com brand, is very important. Because if the value of the actual product, say for example, it's $50, right, is how much it costs. If that $50 outweighs the perceived value of the product, nobody's going to buy, right? Nobody's going to spend $50 on something that only seems to be worth $30. They're not going to do it. There's no point. The moment at which someone buys is when they see that the price is $50, but not that they think, because it's, you know, we're misleading, but the perceived value, I should say, is, as I say, positioned at $100, right? That's why, you know, for example, info product example, that's why so many students enroll into the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. It's because the perceived value of it outweighs the cost of the program. And then once they get into the program, tying back in with the original point of this video, the product, because the product is genuinely on the highest level, it's genuinely, and this is not, you know, my words, but it's genuinely one of, if not the best ecom SMMA programs on earth, right? And as I say, this coming from students, people love it. And so it's a great, great product. And it stems from the product itself being on the highest level, and the perceived value. The reason it does so well is because the perceived value outweighs the actual cost of the program. Cost is 500, but the perceived value is like 4K, you know, so somebody's going to spend 500 to get something worth 4K. It makes sense, because look, it's all well and good me making the perceived value outweigh the actual cost, right? So if it's, you know, as it is actually $500, but I make it seem worth 4,000, that's all well and good. A lot of people are going to get in, but as soon as they get in, if the product's bad, refunds are going to happen. People are going to be super angry. Feedback score on Facebook's going to go down, all this other stuff. So as I say, I may get a good run for a month, but it's not going to last, you know, a long time. It's the same idea with the e-com brands. The product has to be of high value, because if you make the product seem, you know, the perceived value seem higher than the value, that's all well and good. It's only going to last a month though, because then you're going to get a whole heap of refunds. You're going to get a bad Facebook feedback score, and it's just going to go downhill from there. So all of these points, you can now start to see that they're just as important as each other. So that's one thing. Now, the third thing is there's too much friction, right? There's too many hoops that somebody has to go through in order to actually purchase the product. You got to understand that consumers are very, very lazy, right? They're very lazy. They're amazing people. You know, they really fuel my business, my agency. People buy through the ads that we run, you know, and that makes clients keep paying us. And it's the same with you if you're an agency owner, but they're pretty lazy, right? So you need to make that process as frictionless as possible, you know, decrease the amount of hoops that they need to hop through. So if there's too many right now, that's another reason why the sales process will be flawed. That's another reason why there'll be no conversions. Something else is it's confusing. Like, where did it, you know, again, they're lazy to read, right? Consumers are lazy to read. They oftentimes aren't the smartest. You know, they don't want to have to think about what they need to do. They just need it to be obvious. Click here, buy now. Maybe not in those terms. I don't like those terms, but you see what I mean. You've got to make it just as, and this really ties in with point 3. It's got to just be as frictionless as possible. And finally, not aesthetically pleasing. I know personally, when I go onto a website, if it looks ugly, it looks cheap and all that type of stuff, there's no way I'm gonna buy, because not only do I not like it, not only do I feel uncomfortable on the site, but it kind of, you know, if it's not aesthetically pleasing, if it's not a beautifully constructed website, it may kind of come across as a bit scammy, right? So that's really the top 5 reasons why your client sales process is flawed. Now, why is this so important? Why am I spending so much time talking about the sales process? Well, it's kind of like what I said before, you know, it doesn't matter how much traffic you push to the website or to a funnel. It doesn't matter how much you push. It doesn't matter how qualified it is. None of it matters if it's fundamentally flawed or hasn't been battle tested. As I say, if it hasn't been battle tested, if it's fundamentally flawed, it doesn't matter how much traffic we push to it, you'll be just burning money. So this is the reason, right? This is the sole reason that you physically cannot get any and every client amazing results just because you can run ads. And really, anyone who says this is a complete liar and has never had a myriad of clients. So I see it all the time, right? These people running ads for their agents, for their agency, or they're preaching to, you know, maybe they've got a YouTube channel, they're a guru and whatnot, and they preach that, like, you know, you can sign any client, and, you know, with my Facebook training, you can get any e-commerce brand, any informational product, any business out there, amazing results. That is the most stupid thing I've ever heard, because I can't do it, you can't do it, the best advertisers in the entire world cannot do it, right? And it's because of this. If a sales process is fundamentally flawed, it doesn't matter how good your ads are, you won't be able to get good results. If the product isn't of a high level, as I said, you may get good results for a month, but it's going to die off eventually if the product itself isn't of high level. If the offer isn't one that people actively want, again, this is another concept I'm going to speak about here later in this video, a concept that's called PMF, right? You can't run ads successfully. So this is why this stuff's so important, because I don't care how good you are at advertising, if these things aren't in place within your client's business, you will not be able to get them results. And I sound like a broken record, I keep repeating myself, but it's so important, okay? Now, as I say, how can you combat this from happening? It's such a big problem, but there is ways to go about it. Now, how do you do that? How do you combat this from happening? Well, you need to go through, you know, this is why we have these a knowledge building phase in our sales calls. This is why we have, you know, processes of diagnosis in your sales call. Because in those sales calls, you need to make sure you ask them questions in regards to their current sales process. You know, things such as, what are your conversion rates like? How much traffic is that conversion rate based on? Stuff like that. That shows us whether their sales process is of a high level or not before we come in. If it's not where we need it to be, we don't bring them on board, because it's, you know, the sales process will be fundamentally flawed. Next is advertising. Okay, so this is the third pillar. And again, these are in no particular order. They're all as important as each other. So Advertising. Now, once you have a client that fulfills those initial points, right? You are now ready and primed to create perfectly crafted advertising that will convert if this final point that I'm going to touch on after advertising is also evident, right? Perfectly crafted advertising is obviously super important. These are the other 3 points. Right, the first 2 and the one after this, they can be on point, but if nobody knows about the brand, if nobody sees the brand, then there's going to be no conversions, right? So that's why they're all just as important as each other. And as I've already said, none of these points covered can be missed if you want to generate spine-chilling results for your clients, right? Each point is important as each other. So perfectly crafted advertising is completely in your control as the agency, and you must fulfill this need, right? This is completely in your hands. I personally argue that as the agency owner, you also need to ensure that the sales funnel, website, messaging, offer, etc. is all congruent at the highest level. But technically that isn't your job, right? You're not hired to do that. You're hired to run perfectly crafted advertising. Your job overall is to advertise. So what does perfectly crafted advertising consist of? Well, it's pretty easy, to be honest, right? The idea is pretty easy, right? Putting adverts in front of audiences that make the hairs rise on their arms because they resonate with it so much. That's it. Ads where those who are viewing it, right, which is the target, or should be, if you're doing it correctly, it should be the target audience / ideal customer. They're the people who should be viewing it. So it's ads where those who are viewing it feel as though you've been eavesdropping on their thoughts for the past month or so. That is how much your ads need to resonate with the target audience. Again, this is stuff nobody talks about, but those who are viewing the ad, those who are seeing and reading the copy, looking at the creative, all that type of stuff, not so much the creative, more the copy, they need to feel as though you've been eavesdropping on them for the past month. That's how they need to feel. They need to be like, how the hell does this person know that this is how I feel? How, like, they start to look at their phone, they think like their phone's tapped, they think like there's somebody's put a chip in their mind because you've just spoke the exact things that they've been thinking. I promise you, when you create ads like that, it's game over, right? When you put ads of that nature in front of that specific person, you know, if you can create ads like that but you're putting it in the front of the wrong people, nothing's gonna happen. But when you create ads like that and you put it in front of that specific person, it's game over. As I've kind of said here, right? I promise you, when you make ads of that nature and you put it in front of the correct person, given that the previous 2 points as well as the following point are in place, spine-chilling results will be a natural byproduct. Getting results, it just won't even be a question anymore, right? So how can you, it's all well and good for me to say just create ads that, really speak to your ideal customer, all that type of stuff. But how do you actually make your ideal customer feel as though you've been eavesdropping on their thought? Well, to be honest, it's by knowing the answers to questions such as the following. Now, I want to mention that it's not limited to these questions. It's got to be questions of this nature, but it needs to be a lot more of them. You need to know a lot more things, but questions such as these, right? What are the pain points of your ideal customer? How does your offer provide a solution to those pain points? What terms will repel your ideal customer? What turns them off? What they like, as soon as they see it, no, that's it, you're done. They just keep scrolling, right? They read that term, read that phrase, see that word, whatever it is, and they just keep scrolling. It just repels them. What are those terms, right? What language does your customer use? Now on the flip side, what terms do they love to see? Do they kind of gravitate to? What are those terms? What grates on their nerves? What just really, really annoys them, right? And, something else is like, is there common traits among your target audience? So your target audience is going to be filled with, different people and whatnot, but what are the common traits among them? For example, in terms of that first point, what are the pain points of your ideal customer? Again, as I say, I'm going to refer to a lot of agency ad stuff. One of the pain points of my kind of target audience, my target customer when I'm running ads for the agency is, the clients are just annoyed, they're tired of getting no results. That's one of their pain points. They're just sick and tired of running Facebook ads, running Instagram ads, running Google ads, whatever it is, and getting no results. And then working with an agency that, promises the world, and they do the same thing. They can't get results either. That's what they're tired of. That is where probably I would say their number one pain point lies. And, for the second question, the third question I should say, what terms repel your ideal customer? Again, for the agency example, terms such as Facebook ads repels my target customer, right? Facebook ads repels them. Instagram ads repels them. Take your business to the next level. That repels them. As soon as they see that, we could have wrote the just the world's best copy, but if at the end the call to action is take your business to the next level here and link it, that no matter how much they resonate with that copy, terms of that nature, take your business to the next level, stuff like that is going to repel them. Okay. The fourth one, what language does your customer use? For us, majority of our ideal customers, some aren't too familiar with it, but majority of our ideal clients is terms such as ROAS, cost per click, CPM, stuff like that. What grates on their nerves? Kind of tied in with the first point, is things like agencies who literally promise the world and deliver nothing. They go through so many of these agencies. Every single one of our clients, I'm pretty sure, has gone through an agency where they've literally promised the world and delivered nothing. Every single one. That's what grates on their nerves. Agencies who operate in that manner, right? So when we come in, we're offering something, I would say completely different, but it's the same technical thing, Facebook ads, right? Paid traffic, but we go about it in a completely different way. That's how our offer is just completely different to any of our competitors. And then that final question, are there common traits among your target audience with me and the agency ads? Yes, there is. Kind of the majority of them are already running ads, but whether it's themselves running it, in-house, or they've got an agency, they're running, it doesn't matter which one, they're running ads. Those ads are either not getting results, period, right? They're losing money and whatnot, or they know they're not at their potential, right? They're only at a 2 ROAS or whatever, but they know that can be bumped to a 5 ROAS, or maybe they're already at a 5 ROAS, but they're only at 200 a day spend, and they know they can bump that spend to 3,000 a day, whatever it is. That's basically the position that all of our clients are in. So now, leveraging the answers to these questions, and obviously, as I say, there's a lot more questions than just these 6, 7, whatever there is here, but these are the questions, it's of this nature, questions of this nature are the ones that you need to answer. So then when it comes to writing copy, you can really, really speak to your client. And as I say, that's how you create perfectly crafted adverts and advertising overall. And then it's a matter of just putting those adverts in front of the correct audience. So the last and final point is PMF. What does PMF stand for? It stands for product market fit. Every point, as I've mentioned, is just as important as each other, but product market fit is mandatory. Here's why. Your client or yourself, if you're running as your agency or your own brand or your own info product, whatever it is, you could have the world's best sales process, the most perfectly crafted advertising, the highest quality product, the most professionally taken creatives. However, if there isn't a market that actively wants a product, no one's going to buy it. Full stop. That's it. End of, right? Doesn't matter how good everything is in the business. You got the most lean, efficient, effective business in the world. If there isn't a market that actively wants the product or service that you're selling, nobody's going to buy it. And so how do you know if your client has product market fit? Well, the best indicator is usually the track record. What is their current monthly revenue? How do their numbers currently look? Etc. Right? Are they spending 100K a month to generate 17K in return? If so, product market fit definitely isn't there. Now, you could argue here that the advertising isn't where it should be, that maybe they're doing terrible advertising, but you see what I mean. For the most part, the track record, the proof of concept is what shows you whether there's a market there actively wanting, actively seeking that product that your client's selling or the service, whatever it is. Something else that I also like to ask, and this is for businesses that aren't overly established, is why have they built the brand? Was it an impulse thing? Like they just wanted to make some money. They seen, they were sat in their room and they looked at, a keyboard and they just like, yeah, I'll build something around that. Was it an impulse thing, or was it that they saw a hole in the market and decided to fill it? Stuff like that. So this is really why it's so important to have a look at clients' proof of concept, have a look at their track record. For things such as proving the sales process, as we talked about before, is it working or is it not? But also, it shows you whether there's an actual market there for it. A business that's doing 100K a month has a more solid proof of concept. It's safe to say that their product market fit is stronger than a business who's doing 5K a month. Now, there's so many caveats to that statement. Don't take it literally, but you get the idea. This is why, it is important to ensure the client's making a healthy amount a month to so that they can afford your service. Yes, most definitely. But as I say, something that nobody really talks about is that it's also important to see what that is, to see what their product market fit is like, because that will be a kind of a direct indicator. And also, as I said, for those businesses who aren't overly established, maybe they've started out 3 months ago, 2 months ago, whatever it is, and you know, maybe they're at 20K a month, 10K a month even. You can still bring them on as clients, right? If you can see that you can do really good advertising for them, you can still bring them on as clients. But one question you do ought to ask them is why they built the business. Was it the fact that they just kind of, oh, I just wanted some more money, so I kind of, you know, I seen this, I knew somebody who could supply the product, and that was kind of it? Or was it that they seen a hole in the market, they was, you know, they go about their daily lives and they consistently had this problem, whatever it was, and so they decided to build a product to fill that hole? If so, the latter is going to have a far stronger product market fit, which is going to make advertising, of course, far easier, because there's a market that you can tap into. If there's no market there that wants the product, there's nothing for you to tap into, so you won't be able to get good results. So really, you know, that is all it takes in the e-commerce and info product niche to be able to provide unmatched results. If you've got your product, you know, you've got an amazing product in place, you've got a very, very strong sales process, perfectly crafted advertising, which is mainly where you're going to come in as the agency, and there's a market there that actively wants the product that you're selling, you will be able to get amazing results for every single brand. Period. That's it. That is how you get these crazy returns. You know, you see some of the returns that we get some of our clients, it's like 15, 20 ROAS. How the hell are you meant to get those types of results? It's because every single one of these pillars is perfect. Now, not every client is going to be at the highest level on each single one, which is why not every client is able to get 15 to 20 ROAS, right? But those clients where it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ROAS, you know, super healthy returns, really at that point, you will be printing your clients money. You know, they're hitting every single pillar that we've gone through. And really, those 4 pillars serve as the backbone to be able to generate any client that you ever bring on board amazing results. Make sure everything is perfect. And so with that being said, I hope this video brought some clarity around how we generate our clients, how we obviously qualify our clients, and yeah, as I say, how we generate our clients, you know, 15, 16 ROAS, 20 ROAS, some months, consistently, routinely. So if you enjoyed, go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.